So now we are joined on the show. This is a kind of special episode of Salsa Indestructible. We are joined for a little bit by Mo Amer, who's a comedian who's going to be taping a Netflix special at the Paramount. That's June 28th, I believe, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. 2 shows on June 28th at 7:30 and 9:45. Really excited about it.
Going to be great. First of all, congratulations on getting that Netflix special taped.
Thank you, brother. I'm excited to make it happen in Austin.
Can you just tell me a little bit about yourself, who you are as a comedian, what where you come from, and what you're about?
Who am I? Who is this thing? Who is this guy inside of me that wants to come out and just show the world? It was like an old. I mean, who am I? That was an old impression of Billy Crystal from Analyze That when he was asked, "Who are you?" He's like, "Who am I? This guy with the thing inside of me that wants to share with the world my hot the thing." And nobody could lose him. I mean, who am I? I'm born in Kuwait. Left during the Gulf War in 1990. I was 9 years old. I ended up in Houston, Texas, my hometown. What's up, H-Town, if anybody's listening. H-Towners, I'm still healing from the Rockets' robbery loss. I moved to Houston when I was 9. Saw Bill Cosby live at the Houston Astrodome when I was 10. Decided to do stand-up comedy at the Livestock Show and Rodeo. He was co-headlining with the band Alabama. I was 10, decided to do comedy from there. 4 years later, I started doing stand-up. Here we are, like 20 years later, filming a Netflix special. So I'm really, really excited, man.
Yeah.
It's been a long journey. Those are the cliff notes, massive cliff notes.
Oh, yeah, of course. I still, when I first heard this, I still couldn't believe that, like, Bill Cosby headlining with Alabama is just such a weird combination to me.
Yeah, it's incredibly weird. Obviously, I didn't know who either was. I've been in the country like a year at that point, and I was also just turned 10. So I didn't know. I don't know if most 10-year-olds knew what Alabama was, even if they were born in America. So, it was really exciting for me to be introduced to the art form of stand-up at 10. That was the most amazing thing. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's the Astrodome. It's like, I remember seeing the flashing of record, attendance. It's like 70,000, almost 70,000 people there, and he's just like crushing on this rotating stage off in the distance with a lapel mic and a chair. Like, what? It's really incredible, right? It's really, stand-up is an incredible art form like that. Words are so powerful. So it was just amazing to be, introduced to stand-up that way. And it's unfortunate, obviously. I don't have to say it. The Cosby thing is obviously really gross, and I'm sad that happened. But it was, in the end, it got me into stand-up. So it's a beautiful thing.
And then you've been doing stand-up since you were, 14 or so? You started pretty young.
Correct. Yeah, I started really young.
How has the art evolved since then? And how, I can imagine you've seen so many kind of changes in the way, because I feel like stand-up has become so much of a bigger thing in some way since then. It's found its way.
Of course,
I don't know.
Stand-up has always been huge, Stand-up has always been one of those truth to power with Lenny Bruce and the Carlin days and fighting for free speech and, allowing yourself to do that. It's what stand-up is, and it's really, really a powerful art form. And I think maybe for a time it was taken for granted and people were tired of it. And I think the evolution of television had a big hit into stand-up, because people couldn't get it anywhere else other than like the Tonight Show for 4 or 5 minutes at a time, right? For the comedian that's appearing. So when I think cable television came out and people were able to access stand-up comedy so much easier on television, I think stand-up went through a major adjustment period, and I think it's just cyclical, and it's on its a really big upswing right now. So, it's really just incredible. I mean, as far as like my evolution as a comedian, I mean, my God, I was 14, I'm 36. There is a massive evolution. I'd hope so, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you grow and mature. I mean, there's so much to talk about. Like if I listened to my album when I was 19, I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Who is this person? And why does he sound that way? Like even my voice is different, the way I look, the way I feel, everything is different. You mature as a comedian. It's like the more flight hours you get, the better pilot you are. And the more time you get on stage, it's the same thing. And so it's a big evolution. I mean, like I went from doing stand-up in my high school classes to now touring the world and to being mentored by Dave Chappelle and touring with Chappelle the last 5 years. So it's like a pretty incredible ride.
So you went from touring with Dave Chappelle, and then kind of your moment where I think you were catapulted into the mainstream was it was 2 weeks after the election, where you found yourself on the same flight in the seat next to Eric Trump. That was kind of the moment that you first kind of went viral, man. Correct?
Yeah, well, apparently I went super viral. That's when you cross over different platforms. I didn't know. I was talking to my buddy. Yeah, that happened, man. I flew in from Australia. I was on tour in Australia. I had a stop in Houston. From Houston, I went to Newark, and in Newark, I was just exhausted. You can imagine going from one continent and flying through one to the next. I was just completely exhausted, and I show up to my boarding gate. And I got upgraded, into first class because I travel so much with them. I didn't know I was going to get upgraded, much less sit next to Eric Trump. But I do know and feel like the lady that upgraded me was probably a Clinton supporter. Like, it felt that way a little bit. Like, she was like, oh, Eric Trump is on my flight? Okay, let me take a look at this upgrade list. Oh, there's an empty seat next to Eric? Okay, let me take a look at this upgrade list. Oh, Mohammed Mustafa Amer, upgrade! I feel like that's what happened, I pulled up because I've never been greeted with such enthusiasm prior to boarding an aircraft in my whole life. Like, I showed up, I scanned my boarding pass, and she was like, guess who's been upgraded? Like that. I was like, why are you saying it like that? She had an air horn. She was like, I was like, that's a little much. No, but I walked in, and I was like, oh, my God, is that Eric Trump? And I just put up my bag and took a second look and saw his name on his sweater. So it was definitely that dude. Who does that, by the way? Walks around with like crests and their own family crest and name underneath it. It's like really weird. So yeah, man, and I sat next to him, and first thing I said to him was "Salam alaikum." I was teasing him, wanted to mess with him. I had to. And he just started laughing, and I just told him, like, hey, man, my name's Mo Amer. I'm Arab. I'm Muslim. I'm a comedian. I had to mess with you. And I came here as a refugee. And I was like, too late, man. I made it. And he was just like, oh, he took that. I was like, hey, you tell your dad to build all the walls he wants because my family flew in. It's like, I don't understand why everybody's so, it's like, it's 2018, man. I'm like one Spirit Airlines flight away from being back in the game. And we just had this conversation. I took a stupid picture, and it went crazy viral, man. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't expect it. I woke up freaking out.
Yeah, it's got to be a crazy thing to just to land, because we've all had something go a little bit viral, but to go super viral, and you were saying that there's a difference between viral and super viral. It goes cross platforms. That's something so kind of totally different. So what at this point, it's been about a year or so since then. What's that been like?
Oh man, I've been working on getting a Netflix special. No, I've been touring extensively. Doing my own shows, both in America and globally, and with Chappelle, and just been keeping very busy. I'm currently in New York, at the Comedy Cellar all week, and just working on that material, getting it tight, and TV and acting as well. I was on HBO Crashing, so it's just like. Basically, I'm trying to just breathe, man. I'm trying to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to breathe and make sure everything is ready to go for the Paramount Theater in Austin and on June 28th at 7:30 and 9:45. So I'm really excited and looking forward to just sharing this with Texas, and the world, Like, it's going to be a really, really amazing night. Special guest that I can't announce at this point, and Austin is always special to me. The first headliner gig I had was at the Velveeta Room, one of my early ones on 6th Street. So it's always, and I did the Austin City Limits with Chappelle the last couple of tours. So this has been I just can't wait, man. I can't wait. I can't wait. Everybody needs to, watch it and enjoy it. And I can't wait to share it with Austin and Texas and then the world.
Yeah, it sounds really exciting, and again, it's good to see you get that special, and good to see that finally. Does it feel like something's coming to fruition there? Does it feel like a pivotal career moment, or is this just is this just?
It's a big milestone. Absolutely, it's a big milestone, and it's one of those that you work very hard. It's one of those things that a comedian works for. I mean, that's definitely everybody's goal in comedy is to get their hour. It's always been that way. It's get their hour, recording your album. Those are big deals. Those are definitely milestones. So it's very, very significant to me. And Chappelle calls it my graduation. It's like, oh man, it's a graduation, baby. Yeah, it's like almost getting like your PhD, right? So it's a big deal.
We've been speaking to Mo Amer, who's going to be taping his new Netflix special on June 28th. Can you remind people once again where and when that's going to be?
Yeah, it's going to be at the Paramount Theater, obviously in Austin, at the Paramount Theater at 7:30 and 9:45. It's June 28th. June 28th at the Paramount Theater, 7:30 show and 9:45 show. We got 2 shows that night. We're filming 2 shows. I got special guests that I can't tell you exactly who it is, but it's going to be incredible. If you want to come, I mean, I don't know, just a Netflix taping with a very unique special guest, if you care to. So yeah, man, it's going to be like a really, really exciting night that I've only been working for this for the last 20 years. So no big deal, guys, if you guys don't want to come.
Awesome. Thank you very much for joining us. Anything else you'd like to add before we take off?
I think that's it, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Just love Austin. Hook 'em. Throw that in there. And just all love. Take care, brother.
You too.